Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Louise. I am going to be making homemade dog food for the dogs today. So I thought I'd show you. There's not an awful lot to it, but it's a new thing that I'm trying. I'm going to start trying to cook a crock pot full for the dogs for the week, and then I'm going to still have some like dog meats, like little pates or whatever. So I'm gonna try different things each week. So let's show you what we're gonna go with this week. I've just chopped some veggies up, so I've still got to rinse them, so then I'll go and rinse them and then we'll fill the crock pot up and see what happens, see if they like it. So this is what we're going with in this week's recipe. We're going to put, there's no, well, I say recipe, we're not actually following a recipe and we're not going with weights or anything. So I've got some potatoes that I've peeled, fresh carrots, broccoli, there's some broccoli stem here as well as florets. We're going to dump some peas in there, and then we've got the chicken thighs, which I'm going to cook them and then I'm going to take them out separately and I'll debone them and everything, because it'll be better to keep it together. You know, it's less fiddly to take it apart once it's cooked, and obviously you're going to get more nutrients and things whilst it's cooking, hopefully, to like drip all over the veggies and everything. So that's going to be their dinner. We have the crock pot ready, so I'm just going to actually go and give these a rinse, because I've just peeled them and chopped them up and everything. I haven't rinsed them or anything over, so I'm just going to give them a bit of rinse, and I think we're just going to put a little bit of water in with it. I've not really looked into herbs and spices, so we're not going with herbs and spices in this one, but there are a few that I know they're allowed, but I actually don't have them, so I'll be back in a minute. Let me just go and rinse these off. And I've put the chicken thighs in because I thought I'm just gonna have to show, otherwise I'm going to show you and then I'm going to have to stop and wash my hands and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, this is what we've got. So I did put I put all the fresh vegetables that you saw, there's peas underneath, and I've just put 4 of the thighs in. There was actually 2 more thighs that come in that pack for £1.80, which, so you've got 6 thighs, but I'm going to shove them in the oven for Corey so he's got something nice. And I've just got 1 cup of water which I'm going to put in there just so that it doesn't like burn at the bottom, because there's no juices in there at all at the moment. Yeah, so that's it. That is going to go on high for 4 hours, and then I'm going to check it. Right, so what I'm going to do, once it's cooked, I'm going to debone all of the chicken thighs. I'm going to take everything out and cut it up into chunks. I don't want to blitz it so it's a liquid, but they're going to be too big a chunks for my dogs. Well, one of them will probably manage quite well, but the other one, he's got a few teeth missing, so he struggles a little bit. So I'm just going to cut it all up and then I'll put it all back, and then I'll show you what that looks like and we can see whether they like it or not. Hey, so it's actually the following day because I didn't do my timings right. So the dog's food did actually stay in for 4 hours on high, and it was perfect at that point. But then I was getting ready for bed because, you know, you have things to do before you get to bed, you know, like just make sure your uniform's done and make sure your coffee cup's all ready to go in the morning, all that sort of stuff. And it was way too hot for me to do anything with it. So following day, I have deboned the chicken, chopped it all up. It was very time consuming. I've got to figure out a quicker way of doing that. Yeah, so I've already done that. There was no point in showing you that. So the end result as of right now, that's what it looks like. That's everything you saw except that the chicken's been deboned, clearly. Everything's chopped up in there. So they have a bowl each, and the little white bit you see on top is actually coconut oil. I give the dogs 1/4 spoon of coconut oil because it helps with chipped tummy. He can get a like upset stomach quite regular, but since doing this he very rarely ever gets, and if he does it's so mild, it's just he doesn't eat for 24 hours and that's it. He's like not being sick or anything, so we stick with that. So I'm going to put it down and we'll see how much they like or don't like it. I'm sure they're going to like it because they have been down there. Sorry, just ignore the washing. I had to dump that out to put a different load in. Yeah, they've been sitting here whining because they can smell it. So, you ready for some dinner? Are you hungry? Want some dinner? I think that's a yes. Lighting's not good in their little corner. Chip is usually chips. That one. That's what he normally does. He normally checks on you and you have a few mouthfuls and then check on you again. And he would normally eat about 1/4 of his bowl. Dale would eat all of his and then finish chips off. So you certainly sound like you like it. I did make sure I didn't put any of the chicken skin either, and any gristly bits. I took all of that out. I did all that by hand so I could feel any bits. So I would say that is a hit. So there you go. I do have to stay here and watch them now because Dale has a habit when he finishes before Chip, he would push Chip out of the way and start eating his, and because Chip doesn't eat so much I have to stay here. But I mean, it's literally a couple of tiny bits of veggies in there, and I think that was just because Chip couldn't get it out the bowl. So it was a hit. I'm gonna have to go now because Chip always needs a wee as soon as he's done, so he's probably at the back door. Hey, so another day later. Oh my god, this angle. I've really got to sort this decorating out, haven't I? Just ignore that. I've pointed it out now. Okay, so dog food went great. This again, days later. This has taken a while to get this video up, but we're gonna get there. I was thinking of making the treat set that I bought a while ago, if you remember. So we've tried one of these before. It was the Primark one we got. I think we got it at Christmas, and it came with like a bone-shaped skillet. Dogs were not impressed. I feel like this is pretty much going to be the same thing because it's just a powder. We're just going to add some milk and water to the powder, and then we're going to put it in the oven. This one came with the mould, if you remember. I don't know if you remember. So we've got a mould that's got like little paw shapes, which is the reason I mainly bought this, because it was actually reduced to £1 anyway, so I would have paid £1 just for the moulds. So we're just going to try out this one. So the Primark one we know they didn't like. This is a Wilkinson's one. So we're just going to give it a go. It's really simple. Like the last one I did was really simple as well. So is all you actually need is the powder. Just get the powder. We've got half a tablespoon of water and 1 egg. And we're just going to combine it all. And the last time I did this, this is not even gonna... It's proper vacuum packed in there, so I'm not even going to get a clear... You just have to do that. Yeah, so the last time I did this, it was ridiculously quick. But I think I remember the consistency. I didn't think the consistency should be like it is. But it does say it's going to make like a dough. I don't know why, I just expect it to be runnier. So I just thought, because this came with it anyway, there's no point in just binning this. But I'm gonna try other things with the moulds and stuff. Now we're on the more, you know, making the dog's food from scratch. Just literally put your water in, crack your egg in, big bit of shell went in there. Stayed intact though, that wasn't bad. And just mix it. Again, as you can see, it's gone proper thick dough. So I'm going to have to really squash it in there. So I'm actually not going to do that on camera. It's going to be fiddly, and you know that I'm not good at all this sort of stuff. I forced them in there. It had like a bounce back thing, so I don't know if... I'm hoping the heat as it cooks makes it take on that shape, because it definitely isn't in all the little paw print thingies. So the instructions, which I thought were weird actually, that's going to go in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes on gas mark 4. But then it says, remove it from the oven and cool for a minute before serve. I've never given my dogs hot food. I will not be giving my dogs hot food. I thought that was really weird. I thought they would say, no, let it cool down first. For a minute, I hope nobody actually follows those instructions. I'm sorry, my hair's a mess and there's nothing to do about it. It's fly away and I'm conscious of it clearly. I only put it up because I'm cooking. So they're going to go in the oven, and then I'm going to bring them out, let them cool properly, because my dogs are used to room temperature. They're both waiting down there at the moment. Then I'll probably sit on the floor and we'll do a taste test, because you know, that's the way I work. So they're done. They didn't... Some of them had a few like little imprints on them, but they proper... That's the way they went in, obviously that way. They proper rose, like proper bad. They're both here. Can't see them. Hang on. Oh, come in then. Do you want some of this? Come in then. And Chip's the fussy one. This is Chip. He's the fussy one normally, so I wouldn't expect him to take them. It's the same thing. You want to take some? No? Okay, if you're not going to take some, we'll see if Dale wants some. You want some, Dale? Come here then. Can you see him? Let's change our angle a tad. Dale eats everything in sight normally. It is quite dry, I have to say. When I pulled it apart, it is very dry, so they're going to need a drink. That's normal for Chip as well. Ignore all my socks and everything. I'm in the house. I'm not colour coordinated. Pink socks, green trousers and blue top. He took it and then dropped it. See, Chip's so fussy. It's my finger. There you go. So it looks like Dale's going to eat them. There's quite a lot though. You going to try another bit? Okay, now I'm going to try and give Chip. Look, there you go. You try that. Leave these alone, Dale. Leave these alone. Go on, Chip. Okay, so Chip didn't like it. I feel like this is probably the way it went last time. Dale really likes it. But Dale eats everything at the site at the moment, so I'm really not that surprised. So there you go. Not a total disaster. Do you like it? So by the time this goes out, I've already done quite a few slow cooker meals. I just tried rice this week. Really makes it stodgy, so you have to add loads of water every time I put it in. But they absolutely love their food. So this whole like real food thing is going really well. Let's give you one more piece. I don't want to overload you. So that was a hit. So I'm just going to dress this because you've probably seen it anyway, and I know that you love my doggies like I do. So Dale had an accident this week, didn't you, Dale? Yes, I know. Dale hurt himself jumping off the bed in the dark. So I have a stool by my bed so they can get up onto the bed and get down so they don't hurt their joints or anything, because they're getting on. They're actually officially 14 years old now, so they are getting on. And Dale decided he wanted to get down, didn't give me a chance to go and turn the light on, and he didn't quite get onto the step properly, and he's torn his toenail. His foot all swelled, is the word that is in my mouth. His foot did swell quite a lot, but I checked him, you know, I've googled everything, I've checked everything, he's fine. He didn't limp at all the first day. Second day he did limp, so it got me a little bit concerned and did swell a bit. But I checked everything and I'm comfortable that he's fine. He's now not limping anymore. This is literally just to stop him from licking his foot, because he's like intensely licking his foot, and he's just going to make everything worse, because apparently dogs have a lot of bacteria in their mouth, so we don't want him doing that. But the toenail's actually fallen off now anyway. So everything's fine with him. He's running around. He was jumping up at me earlier, so he's feeling a lot better anyway. So anyway, I just thought actually whilst we're here, originally what I did was I put a little bandage on his foot. I put a bit of tissue and then I bandaged it, and it came off straight away. And I couldn't think how to keep it on, so I YouTubed it. This is absolutely amazing. This hack, so good. So basically this is a sock. Oh, just in case, because you know, if you're a dog lover and you've got a pet, and you might need to know. So literally just a sock. So if I hold it up, you can see that it goes to his neck. That goes to his neck. So all I did was cut a hole, leave this solid, cut a hole about here, start off here, and I just cut a hole big enough going down that would go over his head. Then what you do, say the dog's bad foot is this side, where the hole is, open it up and you put the dog's foot in there, and then you take the rest of this, the whole thing at the top, so your dog's foot's in, take the whole thing and put it over his head. And it's amazing. I mean, you know, you just cut a hole in the sock, so after a couple of days it does like start to, a hole gets bigger, and he started to get his foot out. But we cut another one and just put another one on. These are socks I don't use anyway. I don't even know why I had them in the cupboard. But yeah, just in case, that was such an amazing hack. Well impressed. I tried so many different things to try and just keep something on his foot, because originally he was bleeding quite a lot. But it's just mainly to stop him from licking it, because like, if I took it off now, he'd be going nuts on it now. and he's making it more sore. So he's absolutely fine. He's walking around fine today. He's, you know, he's jumped up on the past couple of days. He's been so babied, like I won't let him get up on the sofa by himself. I'm carrying him and carrying up and down the stairs. And this morning he's like waiting for me, and I think, yeah, now he's putting it on. But I now know he is putting it on, because if I go somewhere and he wants to go and I haven't carried him, he's quite fine doing it himself, and he's jumped up and down the sofa a couple of times. I don't want him jumping up and down, but he has done it a couple of times. But yeah, he's absolutely fine. Just so everybody knows, he's okay. He's feeling sorry for himself because I'm doing a lot of I don't know, self-care for Dale, and he don't like it. He's not a fan of being brushed and being looked after and creams and like washing his foot and that. Not a fan. Chip is still over the, so he's not, Chip didn't like it. So anyway, I'm doing my usual chatting thingy. I'm going to shut up because I really did go on, didn't I? Got a few things in there in the end that weren't going to happen, but there you go. So if you enjoyed today's video, you want to subscribe, don't forget to subscribe down below. I'm going to go because they're shaking now because it's cold in here on the floor. My bum's getting cold as well, so I'm going to go. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.